The HFY storm. The stars shimmered against the vast blackness of space as the Terran Union's most advanced warship, the TSS Thunderbolt, conducted its final systems check in orbit around Mars. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the ship's revolutionary propulsion system, the quantum pulse drive, operating at optimal levels. All systems nominal, Captain, reported Lieutenant Rajpatel from the operations console. QP drive is stable and shield harmonics are in the green. Maya nodded, a sense of pride washing over her. The Thunderbolt represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a warship built not for conquest, but as a deterrent in a universe humanity was just beginning to explore. For decades, Earth had detected strange signals from deep space, hinting at advanced civilizations beyond their solar system. The Terran Union, formed from the merger of Earth's major powers, had invested everything into being prepared for first contact. Commence final diagnostics on the adaptive defense matrix, Maya ordered. Admiral Fraser wants us back at Earth for the diplomatic summit in 48 hours. The summit, humanity's first official meeting with representatives from the Axiom Collective, a federation of alien species that had recently made contact with Earth's long-range communication arrays. After decades of searching the stars, humanity was finally about to take its place among spacefaring civilizations. Captain, we're receiving an emergency transmission from Earth Defense Command, called out Communications Officer Eliza Wong, her voice tight with tension. Put it through, Maya responded, straightening her uniform. Admiral Fraser's face appeared on the main screen, his expression grave. Captain Chen, abort your testing schedule and return to Earth immediately. We've detected multiple unidentified vessels entering the system at high speed. They're not responding to hails, and they're not the diplomatic convoy we were expecting. Maya's blood ran cold. Estimated time of arrival: less than 3 hours. All defense forces are being mobilized. The Thunderbolt's experimental systems might give us an edge if these visitors prove hostile. Fraser out. The bridge fell silent as the transmission ended. Plot the fastest course to Earth, Maya ordered, her mind racing. All hands to battle stations. The Thunderbolt's engines flared to life, propelling the ship toward Earth at speeds no other human vessel could match. As they approached their homeworld, the situation became horrifyingly clear. A massive fleet of alien vessels had taken position around Earth, their design matching nothing in human records. Those aren't Axion ships, Lieutenant Commander David Reeves, the tactical officer, observed grimly. At least not according to the schematics they sent ahead. Before Maya could respond, the alien vessels opened fire. Earth's orbital defense platforms, the pride of the Terran Union, were targeted with precision. One by one, they went dark. Multiple orbital stations hit, reported Reeves, his voice steady despite the devastation unfolding before them. Earth Defense Fleet is engaging, but they're outmatched. On the view screen, Earth's ships fought valiantly, but their weapons barely scratched the alien vessel's shields. The attackers' weapon systems were devastatingly efficient, cutting through Earth's most advanced defenses like they were made of paper. This is Admiral Fraser to all Terran vessels, came a broadcast on the emergency channel. We are under attack by unknown hostile forces. Implement Defense Protocol Omega. I repeat, implement Defense Protocol Omega. Maya knew what that meant. Earth was officially at war. Get me a secure channel to Terran Command, she ordered. As the communications officer worked, Maya watched helplessly as more of Earth's ships were destroyed. Within minutes, the channel opened. Captain Chen, thank God you're still out there. Admiral Fraser's voice came through, distorted by interference. Our main fleet is being decimated. We've intercepted some of their communications. They call themselves the Hegemony, an elite faction within the Axiom Collective. They've come to eliminate us before we become a threat to their dominance. What are your orders, sir? Maya asked, already knowing the answer. The Thunderbolt is now our most valuable asset. You have the most advanced ship we've built, with systems they haven't encountered. Your orders are to survive, gather intelligence, and strike back when possible. You're authorized to implement the Defiance Protocol. Maya's heart sank. The Defiance Protocol was theoretical, a last-resort strategy developed for a scenario where Earth faced overwhelming alien hostility. It meant that the Thunderbolt would operate autonomously, using guerrilla tactics while Earth fought a desperate holding action. Understood, Admiral. We won't let you down. One more thing, Captain. Our scientists have detected unusual energy signatures from their weapon systems. There might be a vulnerability there. Find it, exploit it. That's our only hope. Fraser out. The transmission ended abruptly as another orbital station exploded. Orders, Captain, asked Commander Sarah Takahashi, the ship's XO. Maya took a deep breath, steadying herself. Take us out of the combat zone. Set course for the dark side of Earth's moon. We need to analyze their attack patterns without being detected. As the Thunderbolt retreated, Maya gathered her senior officers in the tactical room. The ship's AI, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm, projected a holographic display of the ongoing battle. We're outgunned and outnumbered, Maya stated plainly. But we have advantages they don't know about. The Thunderbolt's stealth capabilities, for one, our adaptive defense matrix, and the quantum pulse drive for another. What's the plan, Captain? Asked Chief Engineer Marcus Ortega, his hands still stained with coolant from manually adjusting the drive systems. We're going to do what humans have always done when faced with superior force. Adapt, Maya replied. Analyze the enemy's weapon signatures and shield frequencies. Look for patterns, weaknesses, anything we can exploit. Analysis in progress, Captain. The AI responded. Initial findings suggest their weapons operate on a quantum resonance principle different from our understanding of physics. Their shield technology appears standardized across all vessels. Maya nodded thoughtfully. If their shields are standardized, they might all share the same weakness. We need more data. I might have something, said Lieutenant Patel, reviewing sensor logs. During the initial attack, their ships emitted a specific energy signature just before firing. If we could detect that signature, we could predict their attacks and counter them, finished Takahashi. Better yet, Maya added, if we could replicate that signature, we might be able to confuse their targeting systems. The tactical room buzzed with renewed purpose as the team worked to develop a countermeasure. Hours passed as they analyzed the battle data, their homeworld burning in the distance. Captain, I believe we found something, announced Dr. Kirajong, the ship's chief science officer. The hegemony ships use a form of quantum-entangled targeting. Their weapons are incredibly precise because they're linked quantumly with their targets. Can we disrupt that connection? Maya asked. Zong nodded. The Thunderbolt's QP drive generates a similar field. If we modify it to emit a counter-frequency, we might be able to sever their quantum targeting. Do it, Maya ordered. How long? 4 hours, maybe less, Engineer Ortega estimated. You have 2, Maya stated firmly. Earth doesn't have more time than that. As the modifications began, Maya returned to the bridge, watching the devastating assault continue. The hegemony had started targeting Earth's surface installations, methodically destroying military bases and communication centers. They're trying to isolate us, Takahashi observed. Cut off all command and control. It won't work, Maya replied, determination in her voice. Humans don't give up that easily. 2 hours later, Ortega reported the modifications complete. The Thunderbolt emerged from behind the moon, its systems reconfigured, and its weapons charged. Target the nearest hegemony vessel, Maya ordered. Let's see if our theory works. The Thunderbolt fired its main weapon, a concentrated beam of energy, now modified to disrupt the quantum targeting field. The beam struck the enemy ship, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, the hegemony vessel's shields flickered and failed. The second shot from the Thunderbolt tore through the alien ship's hull, disabling it completely. Direct hit, Reeves announced, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. Their shields collapsed exactly as predicted. They're responding, warned Wang. 3 vessels breaking off to intercept us. Evasive maneuvers, Maya commanded. Prepare to engage stealth systems on my mark. The Thunderbolt twisted and dived, its advanced propulsion system allowing maneuvers no other human ship could perform. As the hegemony vessels closed in, the Thunderbolt fired again, disabling a second ship before vanishing from their sensors. Stealth systems engage, reported Patel. They're firing blindly now. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Plot an intercept course with their command ship. We need to gather more intelligence. The Thunderbolt slipped silently through space, undetected by the hegemony fleet. As they approached the massive command vessel, their sensors revealed something unexpected. Captain, I'm detecting unusual communication patterns, Wang reported. It appears there's disagreement among the hegemony leadership. Some of their ships are holding position instead of continuing the attack. Internal conflict. Maya wondered aloud. "Area, can you intercept and translate their communications?" "Working, Captain," the AI responded. Translation matrix adapting. Partial translation available. It appears a faction called the Justicars is questioning the attack. They claim the High Command misrepresented humanity's threat level. A plan began to form in Maya's mind. Political division within their ranks. We can use that. She turned to her crew, her expression resolute. We've proven we can hurt them. Now we need to show them we can win. Prepare for sequential strikes against their support vessels. Target their fuel ships, their communication relays, their supply lines. And the command ship? Takahashi asked. Maya's eyes narrowed as she studied the massive vessel directing the destruction of her homeworld. We're not ready for that yet, but we will be. As the Thunderbolt moved into position for its next attack, Maya knew they were embarking on a desperate gambit. One ship against an alien armada were impossible odds, but humans had always excelled when the odds were against them. Begin attack sequence, she ordered. Let's show the hegemony what happens when you pick a fight with humanity. The Thunderbolt's weapons flared to life, striking with surgical precision at the hegemony's support vessels. Each hit was followed by a quick retreat into stealth, a hit-and-run tactic that left the aliens confused and disorganized. On the bridge of the hegemony command ship, Supreme Commander Vexar watched in growing frustration as another support vessel went dark. "Find that human ship," he roared, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly in agitation. "How is one vessel causing so much damage?" His tactical officer had no answers, only excuses. The human ship appeared and disappeared at will, striking where they least expected it. For the first time since the attack began, doubt crept into Vexar's mind. Perhaps the intelligence reports had underestimated these humans after all. DFINC Protocol. 3 weeks into what humanity now called the Hegemony War, the once confident alien fleet remained in Earth orbit, but their dominant position had eroded significantly. What began as a simple operation to neutralize a potential galactic threat had transformed into a frustrating battle against an enemy they could neither predict nor contain. Supreme Commander Vexar paced the bridge of the massive command vessel, the Dominion, his clawed feet clicking against the polished floor. His scaled skin had lost its luster, a sign of severe stress among his species. "Status report," he demanded. "We've lost contact with the supply convoy from the Cygnus relay station," reported Sub-Commander Krell, avoiding direct eye contact. "All 8 ships disappeared near the asteroid belt." Vexar slammed his fist against the command console. "That's the 4th supply line cut this week. How is one human ship doing this?" But the TSS Thunderbolt was already far from the asteroid belt, hiding in the plasma streams of Jupiter's magnetic field. Inside the ship, Captain Maya Chen and her crew worked with practiced efficiency despite their exhaustion. The past 3 weeks had transformed them from explorers and scientists into hardened guerrilla fighters. Shield modifications complete, reported Chief Engineer Ortega, dark circles under his eyes. I've incorporated the harmonic frequency we observed in their latest defensive adjustments. Maya nodded gratefully. Good work. Their adaptive shields have been giving us trouble. The Thunderbolt had been engaging in a technological arms race with the hegemony. Each time the aliens adjusted their defenses to counter human attacks, Maya's crew would analyze, adapt, and overcome. It was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to innovate under pressure. ARIA, display current status of Earth's resistance, Maya requested. The AI brought up a holographic map showing the ongoing conflict. Though initially devastating, the hegemony attack had stalled. Earth's remaining defense forces had regrouped, adopting the same hit-and-run tactics the Thunderbolt employed. Meanwhile, civilian populations had been evacuated to underground shelters and lunar bases. Remarkable resilience, observed Commander Takahashi. 3 weeks ago, we thought this might be the end of humanity. We're not out of danger yet, Maya cautioned, but we've bought time. Dr. Zhang, what have you discovered about their communication networks? The science officer manipulated the holographic display, highlighting connections between hegemony vessels. Their quantum entanglement communication is impressive but rigid. They rely on central coordination, which creates vulnerability. A vulnerability we can exploit, Maya concluded. Lieutenant Wang, have you completed the translation matrix for their command protocols? Yes, Captain, Wang replied. We can now intercept and understand approximately 86% of their tactical communications. More importantly, I've identified distinct communication patterns between factions within their fleet. This confirmed what Maya had suspected for days. The hegemony was not a unified force. Political divisions existed within their ranks, with some ships belonging to the aggressive faction that initiated the attack and others to the more moderate Justicars who had opposed it. Show me which ships belong to which faction, Maya ordered. Wang's fingers danced across her console, and a holographic display shifted, color-coding the hegemony vessels based on their factional alignment. Roughly a third of the fleet glowed blue, representing the Justicars. Perfect, Maya said, a plan forming in her mind. Time to drive that wedge deeper. Lieutenant Patel, how soon can we tap into their fleet-wide communication system? With the data we've gathered. 12 hours, Captain. You have 6, Maya responded. We're going to give them something they don't expect. The truth. While the technical team worked on infiltrating the hegemony's communications, Maya met with Dr. Zhang in the science lab. The holographic display showed the molecular structure of the substance they had collected from debris after destroying the hegemony vessel. This confirms our theory, Zhang explained, pointing to the unusual molecular alignment. Their hull material contains artificially created isotopes not found in nature. The quantum resonance pattern is unlike anything in our databases. But you found a way to counter it? Maya asked. Zhang nodded, excitement breaking through her professional demeanor. We can modify our weapons to emit a precisely calibrated frequency that disrupts the molecular bonds. One hit would create a cascading failure throughout their hull structure. Maya placed a hand on Zhang's shoulder. Outstanding work, Doctor. This could change everything. 6 hours later, the bridge crew gathered as Lieutenant Patil announced their readiness to infiltrate the hegemony's communication network. We can broadcast on their emergency channel, he explained. Every ship in their fleet will receive the transmission simultaneously. Maya took a deep breath. This is our chance to exploit their internal divisions. Araya, compile all the intercepted communications that show the High Command deliberately missiled the Justicars about humanity's threat level. Compilation complete, Captain, the AI responded moments later. I'd also included visual data from our encounters showing we attempted to communicate peacefully before being fired upon. Perfect, Maya said, moving to the communication station. Let's show them who the real aggressors are. The Thunderbolt emerged from Jupiter's magnetic field, accelerating toward the heart of the hegemony fleet. On the bridge of the Dominion, alarms blared as sensors detected the approaching human vessel. "They're making a direct approach," Sub-Commander Krell reported incredulously. "No evasive maneuvers. It's a suicide run," Vexar concluded, his mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "Target their propulsion systems. I want that ship disabled, not destroyed. Their technology will be studied." But as the hegemony weapons locked onto the Thunderbolt, something unexpected happened. Every communication console across the fleet suddenly activated, broadcasting the same message. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Terran Union ship Thunderbolt." Maya's image appeared on screens throughout the hegemony fleet. "For 3 weeks, we have been at war because your leadership claimed humans were an imminent threat to galactic peace. That was a lie." The broadcast continued, showing intercepted communications between Hegemony High Command, including Vexar himself, discussing how humanity's rapid technological development threatened their species' dominance, not galactic stability as claimed. "Your own records show we attempted peaceful contact," Maya continued. "We were preparing for diplomatic relations when you launched an unprovoked attack. The High Command feared our potential, not our actions." On the Justikar vessels, commanders watched in growing anger as the evidence mounted. The broadcast concluded with a simple message: "The people of Earth still desire peace, but we will defend ourselves against aggression. The choice is yours. Continue this unjust war or hold your leaders accountable." Chaos erupted across the hegemony fleet as Justikar commanders demanded explanations from High Command. In the confusion, the Thunderbolt struck, its weapons now modified to target the molecular weakness in hegemony hull material. The effect was devastating. The Thunderbolt's first shot struck a hegemony destroyer, causing its hull to literally dissolve as the cascading molecular failure spread throughout the structure. 3 more vessels suffered the same fate before the fleet could respond. On the Dominion's bridge, Vexar watched in horror as his fleet began to fragment. Justikar vessels were breaking formation, turning their weapons not on the human ship but on vessels loyal to High Command. "This is Fleet Arbiter Trevlock of the Justikar Covenant," came a broadcast from the largest Justikar vessel. "By authority of the Axian Collective Charter, I hereby relieve Supreme Commander Vexar of duty for violations of conquest protocols and falsification of threat assessments." Vexar's eyes narrowed as he assessed his options. Half his fleet was in open rebellion, and the human ship had somehow developed a weapon that rendered their advanced hull technology useless. The strategic situation had become untenable. "Target the human vessel with all available weapons," he ordered desperately. "Destroy it before more damage is done." The Dominion's weapon systems charged, focusing on the Thunderbolt. But Maya had anticipated this move. The human ship executed a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible, evading the concentrated fire while maintaining its attack position. "Their command ship is targeting us with everything they've got," reported Lieutenant Commander Reeves, his hands dancing across the tactical console to maintain their defensive countermeasures. "Hold position," Maya ordered calmly. "Concentrate fire on their main weapon arrays. Let's give the Justikars time to intervene." The Thunderbolt's precision strikes disabled the Dominion's primary weapons one by one. Meanwhile, Justikar vessels moved to surround the command ship, their weapons charged. "Commander Vexar," Maya broadcast directly to the Dominion, "your fleet is divided, your supply lines are cut, and your weapons cannot penetrate our defenses. Surrender now, and we can end this conflict without further bloodshed." On the Dominion's bridge, Vexar faced the bitter reality of defeat. Not only had he failed to neutralize the human threat, but his actions had also fractured the hegemony itself. A single human vessel had brought his mighty fleet to its knees. "Stand down all weapons," he finally ordered, his voice hollow. "Open a channel to the human captain and to Arbiter Trevlock. Propose immediate cessation of hostilities." Within hours, representatives from Earth, the hegemony, and the Justikar Covenant gathered aboard the neutral ground of a Justikar vessel. Admiral Fraser, having survived the initial attack, led the human delegation alongside Captain Chen. "The Axian Collective deeply regrets the actions taken by the hegemony faction. Arbiter Trevlock stated formally, his 4 arms performing a complex gesture of contrition. We seek to make amends and establish the peaceful relations that should have been our first approach. Humanity has suffered greatly from this unprovoked aggression. Admiral Fraser responded gravely. But we recognize that not all within your collective supported this war. Our condition for peace is simple: recognition of Earth's sovereignty and our right to develop without interference, and accountability for those who orchestrated this attack, Maya added firmly, her gaze fixed on Vexar. The negotiations continued for days, eventually resulting in the Treaty of Luna, the first formal agreement between humanity and an interstellar civilization. The hegemony faction was disbanded, its leaders facing justice under Axiom law. In recognition of humanity's demonstrated capabilities, Earth was offered provisional membership in the Axiom Collective, with full voting rights on the Galactic Council. 1 month after the treaty signing, Captain Maya Chen stood in the observation lounge of the Thunderbolt, watching as the first official diplomatic vessels from various Axiom species arrived at Earth's newly constructed orbital diplomatic station. Hard to believe it's only been 2 months since first contact went so terribly wrong, Commander Takahashi remarked, joining her at the viewport. Maya nodded thoughtfully. We showed them something they didn't expect. Not just our technology or our tactics, but our nature. Humans don't surrender, even against impossible odds. The Thunderbolt's being refitted with diplomatic quarters, Takahashi noted. Our new mission is to serve as Earth's representative to the collective worlds. From Warship to peace envoy, Maya mused. An appropriate transformation. As the alien ships approached Earth in peace rather than war, Maya reflected on the message that would now spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger, turning enemies into allies through a combination of courage, innovation, and principle. The stars no longer represented unknown threats but endless possibilities. Humanity had earned its place among them, not through conquest, but through defiance in the face of annihilation. Captain, Admiral Fraser is requesting your presence at the welcoming ceremony, Lieutenant Wong announced from the doorway. Maya took one last look at the peaceful gathering of ships where once a battle had raged. Tell him I'm on my way. We have new frontiers to explore. As she walked through the corridors of the Thunderbolt, the ship that had saved humanity, crew members nodded respectfully. They had all been transformed by their trial by fire, emerging as pioneers of a new era in human history. The galaxy had wanted war until one human vessel brought them to their knees. Now that same vessel would lead humanity to the stars, not as conquerors, but as equals in the cosmic community they had fought so hard to join.